2020 was a rough year. And as of the recording of this video, there are still 3 weeks left, so who knows what the season finale is gonna hold. But while 2020 has been rough on a global and national scale, I think it's also been rough for all of us on a personal scale. So we talk here on this channel a lot about personal goals and things you want to accomplish, the quests and kind of direction of your life. And if you had a goal in 2020, chances are you had to completely rethink the way you were going to pursue that goal. Going to the gym is no longer an option if your goal was to get in better shape, or if your goal was to develop better relationships with people in your life, you probably had to do it over a screen like this one instead of over a table in a real life restaurant. So whether you're still stuck inside watching YouTube videos, whether your goals for 2021 are the same as they were at the beginning of 2020, here are 7 ways to make 2021 your best year yet, or at least better than 2020. Number 1, forget your resolutions. Now, this might seem odd at the beginning of the list because if you're anything like me, you don't need help forgetting your resolutions. I personally forget my resolutions every year, sometime around the beginning of February. Now, maybe you forget your resolutions by January 2nd, or you're one of those ironclad, iron-willed individuals who can keep them up through March. We have this weird fascination with creating resolutions that we almost universally tend to move on from. Why is it that we can go into the first of the year with so much momentum and excitement and it falls apart? Well, I think it's because resolutions are almost universally unreasonable. Instead, I want to focus on habits. In fact, one of the main reasons I think resolutions tend to go over so poorly is they're focused on the wrong thing. They're focused on some form of external change that might not even be something you want that much. If you wanted to, say, lose a certain amount of weight or reach a certain fitness goal, I don't think you would actually be that happy if you were suddenly at that weight or suddenly able to hit that fitness goal. Instead, you would be happy if you had the habits in your life that were reflected in the overall result of health. So how about instead of focusing on resolutions that we tend to move on from, we focused instead on daily and weekly habits that would help get us just a little bit closer to those goals. Number 2, start your reading list now. Now, reading more is a very common goal, and I think it's a great one. But in addition to just the overall benefits of reading anything from self-development books to your favorite novels, 3 that I love are The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday, an introduction to Stoicism, Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport about the role of technology in your life, and Range by David Epstein about skills and development and how to become a more competent individual. Or it could be a biography. Now, I personally love biographies not just because they're often fascinating, but because they give me something very little else will, and that's perspective. I can look through the lens of somebody else's life. I have 3 of my recent favorites: the autobiography of Malcolm X as told by Alex Haley, Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey, which I just cannot shut up about, and my all-time favorite biography, The Power Broker by Robert Caro. So whether your goal is to read more in 2021 or not, all these books can help give you perspective and tools to set you up for any goal in 2021. Number 3, start a journal. Now, I know what you're thinking. We're a journal company. We sell journals. It's about productivity. You knew it was going to be on the list, but here's the curveball. I don't need you to start a hero's journal. I love the hero's journal. If you're looking for a journal, I recommend it. But the reality is, with very few exceptions, there are very few journals I wouldn't recommend. In fact, the only journals I don't like, that I think don't work, are the ones that tend to try to get you to hustle more or just be more productive or put your nose to the grindstone just a little bit harder. Journaling is an act of leaving a gift for your future self. It's a way to get perspective on your life. I can personally say that I have never regretted journaling. It's one of very few things that I think that is always a worthwhile use of my time to leave a little impression or thought or feeling. It can give me perspective on my moments and perspective on my years. I love the Hero's Journal. I love bullet journaling. There's a ton of great productivity journals, but honestly, you don't even need any of them. You can do it with a piece of paper and a pen or a Google document on your laptop. Whatever it is, journaling is a great way to start getting perspective on yourself, on your thoughts, on your feelings, whether it's about your goals or just about your life in general. Number 4, ask who you can help. One of the problems with resolutions is I think they oftentimes take the framework of, here's an area of my life I've never been successful in, like my creativity or my business or my health, and I need to somehow act and find the willpower in order to turn that from a failure into a success. But while that is in and of itself a negative story, I think there's an even darker side to it, and that is that we tend to miss the things in our life that are going well. See, whether it was a new success in 2020 or something that's been a success for a while, there are skills and things available to you that could really help somebody out. And by asking who you can help, I think you do three things. One, you find some gratitude. You start seeing the areas in your life that are going really well because you notice how they're not going well for somebody else. You're able to empathize with them, and that gratitude leads you to the second benefit, which is perspective. You're able to see what your life would look like if those areas of strength weren't so strong for you. And three, you help somebody else out along the way in their quest. The same way you probably wish you had somebody to help you in whatever area of your life you're trying to improve. So maybe your business was very successful in 2020 and you're able to make a financial donation to a nonprofit that you love. Or maybe you made significant progress in your fitness journey in 2020 and you have a friend who doesn't know how to work out without being able to go to the gym, and you can help design a program for them or strategize with them. Maybe it's just being able to answer the phone and being available to have a conversation with somebody who hasn't had access to their friends. Whatever it is, by actively looking for who you can help, you start developing perspective and gratitude that can help push you forward in your personal goals. Number 5, take a hike, or take a walk, actually. The benefits of walking are multifaceted. There's the physical of going out and getting some fresh air, getting some vitamin D, stretching your limbs, getting out of your tiny, dark YouTube studios where you sit and talk in front of a camera. But then there's also the mental. There's this quote from Nietzsche. He said, "Only thoughts had while walking are worthwhile." Now, while that Nietzsche quote can seem a little bit vague, even though most of my experiences affirmed it, I love the explanation from Matthew McConaughey in his book Green Lights, that when you go out and go on a walk, you expose yourself to random stimulus. You kind of inject some newness into your world. You look, see, and hear and smell things that you wouldn't normally smell in your home. And you get out of the house, you get to clear your head a little bit, you get to reset. I think too often that we want to find 16 hours of productivity in our day, which just isn't reasonable. Oftentimes, you need to reset, and one of the best ways to reset is to take a walk. 6, limit your technology. Now, there's all sorts of cliches around technology and the impact of social media, and I'm not gonna exhaust you with any of them. The reality is, I wouldn't be able to share this with you if we didn't have technology. Technology is an amazing thing, but in 2020, I found myself using technology more than ever before, and that's because it was really my only way to see my friends. I played more video games and was on more Zoom calls and streamed more shows than ever before, and I'm okay with that because I was stuck inside. I didn't have all my normal options. However, there's also a trade-off. I don't just want to tell you to limit your technology. Instead, I'll say, don't let technology dictate your relationship with technology. So there's all these apps and wonderful things, and I have my Xbox and my laptop and my phone, and there's so many amazing things on them, but all of them want something from me. They want my attention. And if they get to decide how much attention I give, the answer is all of it. Now, after reading Digital Minimalism, I made the decision to limit the apps that could send me notifications. The only way my phone can notify me is if it's a phone call, a text message, or a Facebook message. But whatever the answer is for you, whether it's setting a screen time limit or deleting apps from your phone, it should be you who dictates your relationship with technology, not technology itself. 7, it's all about you. See, we talk a lot about goals because we want people to pursue their goals. We think that's a wonderful thing. But the thing is that the goal itself isn't really what matters. There's this principle in storytelling of external transformation versus internal transformation. The idea is that a hero, in order to defeat the villain, has to go through some internal transformation, some form of change, in order to overcome the external world. The problem with resolutions that I alluded to earlier in this video is that they tend to focus only on the external transformation. And while external transformation is amazing, right? That's the hero at the end of the movie. They get the romantic interest, or they have the cape and the sword and they're awesome, but it's not really why we care. We care because they were able to change, because they were able to grow. See, the entire point of setting a goal or having a resolution or building habits that get you closer to that goal isn't necessarily about the thing itself. It's about developing a better relationship with you. See, most of us tend to treat ourselves pretty poorly. We have unrealistic expectations of what change looks like. We tend to not understand why it is that we can't pursue our goal, why we tend to trip ourselves up so often. And the point of pursuing something, the point of taking an area of your life that you maybe feel a little insecure about, or you felt a little shame about, or you just know you could do a little better in, and building a goal around it to move forward, isn't just about that area of your life. It's about learning to treat yourself better. And while this is a form of self-love or self-care, I think it goes a little bit deeper than this. It's actually about developing a more honest, empathetic, and realistic relationship with the most important person in your life, you. See, one of the foundational beliefs that led us to creating the Hero's Journal is the belief that people don't need help beating themselves up. I think that we are all good enough at knowing the things that we do wrong. We don't really need help feeling worse about our mistakes. I think we all know, in the words of Lit, that we are our own worst enemies. What we tend to need is a little help seeing ourselves not more reasonably. We don't have to come all the way back and say, well, everything about us is great and there are no problems in my life, because it's just not true. I think we all inherently know it's true. But maybe we could use something more like a kind friend to plan our day with, instead of the drill sergeant we tend to treat ourselves as. So no matter what 2021 holds, no matter which items on this list are helpful for you, I hope that you'll find the time to treat yourself just a little bit more openly, just a little bit more honestly, with just a little bit more kindness. Now, while I'm serious when I said that I've used a bunch of different journals, and I'm serious that I think you should use any of them, I am actually going to leave a plug for the Hero's Journal. It's the only journal that I've used that has helped me see myself with just a little bit more kindness. It's that kind friend you can plan your day with. It's designed to help you understand the theme of your story and then build an intelligent goal around that theme using the best of goal setting psychology. And then it takes that goal and reframes it as a 90-day quest. So if you're looking for a little bit more inspiration in 2021, or just want to learn more about what the Hero's Journal is about, you can visit theherosjournal.co. Thank you so much for watching that video and for watching the shameless plug at the end. My name is Zach with the Hero's Journal. 2020 was a rough year for a lot of reasons. There were a lot of things that were great about it, but regardless, I'm looking forward to 2021 and to new starts. We make videos every week talking about our favorite fandoms, talking about story theory, talking about how all of those play out in our lives. So if this video was helpful or interesting to you, if you could leave a like, hit subscribe, and we'll see you next week.